6, 3, 2, 0, and liftoff for the final launch of Endeavour.
Endeavour. Roger, 2 engine power.
I think it's, for me, it was very far-fetched to think I'd get to fly on the space shuttle, because I lived in India in a very small town, and forget about space, I didn't even know if my folks were going to let me go to the engineering college.
February the 1st, 2003. 280 kilometers above the Earth. A team of NASA's top astronauts aboard the space shuttle Columbia prepare to re-enter the Earth's atmosphere, the most dangerous maneuver of their 16-day mission. London, Paris, Tel Aviv, Moscow, Beijing, Vancouver, New York, then London again. Around the world in 90 minutes. Their shuttle blazing in its orbit at 28,000 kilometers per hour. The astronauts experience 16 sunrises and 16 sunsets every day. Now they must return to Earth. The hour leading up to Columbia's re-entry is a flurry of activity at John F. Kennedy Space Center in Cape Canaveral, Florida. The man who must bring Columbia back to Earth is Leroy Cain, flight director. Just 39, he has risen through the ranks of NASA thanks to his iron nerve.
I'm a person who sort of thrives on pressure. It is a high-stress environment, and if you don't thrive and perform well in that kind of environment, it's really not a good job for you to be in.
Cain knows that the lives of 7 astronauts lie in his and his team's hands.
Fundamentally, the flight director is responsible for the safety and success of the mission, the safety of the crew, and the safe return of the vehicle.
Whether this is flight on the flight loop, how do we look for landing?
1986, the world had watched stupefied when the Space Shuttle Challenger turned into a fireball on takeoff. This terrible image scarred NASA's safety record. Almost 2 decades later, as Columbia launched, the fear of another disaster lingered. Columbia's mission had been delayed 13 times over 2 years because of technical snags. But at last, liftoff.
2, 1. We have booster ignition and liftoff of Space Shuttle Columbia with a multitude of national and international space research experiments.
NASA had been under a lot of pressure to get Columbia into space after so many setbacks. Seconds which follow liftoff are the most dangerous for the mission as the shuttle fights to escape the Earth's gravity. The Columbia launch appeared to be a textbook success. 8 minutes later, the shuttle separated from the fuel tank.
Now converging, Columbia's onboard computers commanding the main engine nozzles to gently swivel, aiming the shuttle for a precise target in space for main engine.
And they're getting ready to take a look outside the window. And
The crew photographed the giant tank falling back to Earth.
we're looking at it through the overhead window.
The shuttle was in orbit 300 kilometers above the Earth, racing at 28,000 kilometers per hour. For an astronaut, it's a breathtaking.
Take a look at this.
One day after what had seemed a perfect launch, a team inspecting video footage discovered that a piece of foam cladding from the main fuel tank had come loose and hit the shuttle during liftoff.
Whoa. Can you highlight it? Yeah, no problem.
This was nothing new. The orbit in space with an undetected hole in its wing, but it would not be able to return to the Earth's atmosphere. Blissfully unaware, the astronauts held a video conference with Earth and the International Space Station the day after the piece of wing fell off.
Hey, Alpha, this is Columbia. How you doing over there?
We're doing great. We're so glad to see you guys made it into orbit.
Yeah, we're glad to be here too. And everybody's doing a great job, and I'm really excited to be able to talk to you guys. One space lab to another big old space lab.
They requested that the US Air Force use a spy satellite to get images of the orbiter in space. doomed. Just over half an hour from their scheduled touchdown, all systems seemed perfectly normal on the space shuttle Columbia. In mission control, Flight Director Leroy Kane feels total calm.
It was right by the numbers, as I recall. And then we worked with the crew through the post-burn checklist. There was nothing out of the norm. Everything was going really well. The systems were all performing very well. The team was really on top of its game that day.
How do we look for landing?
2 minutes later, Columbia enters the discernible atmosphere, 400,000 feet above the Earth's surface. The utter cold of space gives way to intense heat on Columbia's hull. Once re-entry begins, there's no turning back. Columbia slows by 800 kilometers per hour, still traveling faster than any object ever created by man. This is the danger zone, losing speed and catching air.
All right, we're at 100th of a G. This is amazing. It's really getting really bright out there. Yep. Yeah, you definitely don't want to be outside now. Like we did before. I don't like having back good point.
Yeah. Oh, I can see you on your moon.
Not yet?
Yeah, now I can.
Yeah, I can see your camera. Okay.
Okay, stop playing. 22, 10, 52 is what we were looking for.
Okay. 10, 16, right? Or 16 right here. Yeah, 22, 10, 16.
Yeah, 22, 10, 16.
Okay.
Correct, sorry.
Go ahead, Max. FYI, I've just lost 4 separate temperature transducers on the left side of the vehicle, hydraulic return temperatures.
4 high return temps?
To the left outboard and left inboard elevons.
And Columbia, Houston, we see your tire pressure
Copy.
messages.
At 9 a.m., the Space Shuttle Columbia disintegrates. The flagship of the fleet, a screaming fireball over the desert.
GC flight. Fly GC, lock the doors. Copy.
Mission control is now like a crime scene that must not be contaminated.
This cause of exploration and discovery is not an option we choose. It is a desire written in the human heart. We are that part of creation which seeks to understand all creation. We find the best among us, send them forth into unmapped darkness, and pray they will return. They go in peace for all mankind, and all mankind is in their dead.
spaceship was glowing in silver light from the moon, and the attitude was changing, and you really felt that you were in a spaceship headed somewhere.
Kalpana, or KC to her friends, was admired personally for her extraordinary kindness and technically for her strive for perfection. She had a terrific sense of humor and loved flying small airplanes with her husband and loved flying in space. Flying was her passion. She would often remind her crew as her training flow would be delayed and become extended. She would say, "Man, you are training to fly in space. What more could you want?"
Hail, Rick. Willie. KC. Mike. Laurel. Dave. And Alan. Hail, Columbia.